just over a week out from game now. Just overall, in general, where do you feel like your offense is at, and your group specifically?
Honestly, if I was giving you negative news, you should worry. Right now, I'm very positive. I love where we're at. They've completely bought into the system, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, it took a little bit for them to actually, especially my room, they're really concerned about conserving energy. And so once you break them of that, and they understand that their body's not going to fall apart after 50 plays, it turns out we have a whole different deal that you can, unravel. So I'm really excited about where we're at currently in the offensive line room, just on the standpoint of where we are getting into shape and moving the ball.
Kind of going off that, Coach Hamby talked a lot about getting bigger and better conditioned in the offseason. I gave a lot of credit to Coach Veldkamp. I guess the offseason, watching them work in the weight room and conditioning-wise, I guess, how do you feel like they've done, and what do you feel like the focuses were there?
I think the biggest thing was them being able to understand, get a grasp. Over the summer, I was getting a grasp of what they actually have to do. Now, can we train a kid for, hey, we're going to run 99 plays? No, your brain can't actually fathom that until you do it. It's kind of like the bench press for the combine. I mean, it's all great and dandy. These kids are like, I want to be able to rep 40, but if you've never even repped 20, what are you talking about? So where we're at, summer one, I was like, you saw a couple of these kids, they're trailing, they're 9. Summer 2, now we're moving. You know what I'm saying? Now they get it, and we're running, and we're focused. So I was very happy to see that piece, and I'm really actually happy that it's hot and it's humid, because there's one thing that I say about the offensive line. Once that cool breeze comes in the fall, they're a whole different creature. So right now they are melting giants, and once we get that little breeze going, it's phenomenal to see. So
in terms of practice, you talk about the snaps you guys want to do. When did you kind of see them make that transition where they could, have that where they could go extra snaps and everything like that?
I would say the first moment was the funniest thing. They asked how many plays did we just run and walk through, and they haven't actually started practice. And I said, welcome to the offense. This is how it works. You're going to run a certain amount of plays and walk through with no pads on before you even start the practice. So when they finally gathered that and figured that out, that's when we were able to succeed. But first 2 practices was pretty funny, because as all humans do, they were like, what did we get into? How are we going to figure this out? So it was good to see after about practice 3, they were like, okay, now it makes sense, because we are merging a lot of things from last year with the new system. And obviously the defense has been here. These kids know a lot of the coaches still, and then on top of that, that Kitley's new for them, and so Coach Kitley's obviously brings a different type of mentality when it comes to just the walkthrough. He focuses a lot of attention on making sure the attention to detail in that. So it was good for the kids to understand we're going to hit this quick, and we're trying to knock it out quick. This is not trying to draw this whole thing out. So
curious in your perspective, you mentioned it earlier, but Kitley coming in with a new offensive scheme, how much of a transition is that for you as an offensive line coach to kind of get adapted to that and everything?
It's more kind of changing their mindset. Now, me playing in it, it helps me out understanding, this is how it works. Once it takes a little bit of time, because they're not going to believe in it at first, because their brain says, how are we going to get this many plays in this amount of time in practice? And once we knock it out, and then you get that break and that breather, it's pretty easy. So my biggest job as a line coach is making sure that they understand once they have downtime, be aware of your downtime. Understand you have downtime. Stop thinking it's a period to period to period. No, we have downtime. We have a break in between, and we can excel and hit these reps at full speed. So that's my biggest thing with it.
Coach, you mentioned Coach Kitley. I had a chance to talk to him this summer about how he kind of came to the Hill, and he mentioned that you had a hand in kind of advertising Western to him. So I guess having a hand in bringing him here, you kind of excited and happy with the man you guys got?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, we always joke about this, because just about every interview I bring up that we've been in a group message since 2013. It's still going on to this day. It doesn't matter what the topic is. There's somebody, it's a group of us that all started our coaching career. So we're all still kind of talking. So yeah, it was an easy fix for as soon as he walked in the door, we were able to gel. And it was good because I was able to explain it. I've kind of been a translator for Coach Helton to Coach Kitley. So it honestly, there's a couple things that that are quirks that we call it the supposed air raid, but everybody calls it whatever they want to. But there's a couple things that once you make that translation, everybody's on the same page and it's good to go. Whereas if Coach Kitley showed up here just by himself, he would probably have to over-explain a couple things. Whereas the pass game, for pass protection and run protection, we've simplified it down a bunch. So it makes it easier for someone to be able to walk in my room and say, okay, translate this to what we were doing last year. I'm like this, and this. They're like, okay, good.
If the season were to start tomorrow instead of a week from tomorrow, who are the 5 guys you're throwing out?
right now I'm looking at the guys that you saw out there. So left tackle would be left tackle is Cole Spencer. Quintavious Slowly is doing a phenomenal job at left guard right now because he brings a lot of power to the situation and the double teams. Rusty is one of the most utilized humans we have. I mean, he honestly has fun playing the game. So he can play center and guard. He's at center currently. I've got I got Bo Wilson, who's obviously he's 78 years old, but he's like a phenomenal player. I love that kid. He's awesome. He had a fun note. His shoes were too narrow that he was breaking in, so he's trained players with a wider foot. And then he ran out there and was like, "Oh, I feel so comfortable." And I was like, "Thanks, Granddad." So, and then of course Mason Brooks is at right tackle. You're going to see in the rotation. You're going to see Gunnar Britton's going to be part of it because he is a big swing portion. I don't really want to put him at guards. I feel like we have a good spot at guards right now. He can play center, and he can also play tackle.
Coach, we're like a lot of college football has been seeing like a lot of like rotation with the offensive line. Do you expect that out of your group this year, like rotating offensive linemen in and out?
Personally, I don't. I'm not for that. They did that with me in college for 1 year. Now the difference is the guys they were rotating me with, one was an All-American and the other one went on to win Super Bowl 50. So I was taking time from some really good players, and then all of a sudden they decided, oh, he can snap, so let's put him in center. So now here we go as a unit. So in the long run, I don't like the rotation. If you have a bunch of young guys, I'm all for rotation. But if you have guys that can gel and know each other, especially like with our group, I mean, Rusty, Cole, and Mason and Gunnar have all been together for at least 4 years now. Tick has been with us for 2 years now, right? So I'm not big on rotation. It all depends on who you are. I'm big on it if you only have youth and you're trying to not plateau a bunch of freshmen. I'm not big on it when I'm a senior because when you pull me out of the game, I'm now getting cold and I'm getting out of the rotation, especially as a center. I kind of want that communication. Whereas if I'm going to come blow this guy up for you, I hope you drop your hand down because you know I'm going to be there and you hit it instead of smacking in my arm. You know what I mean? So I'm a big get a feel for the five. If it doesn't work, yeah, you can rotate and there's you. But if you've got 5 guys that you trust, leave them in the game. Leave them in the game. Rotate receivers, not the O-line. So.